So, title as you see on the screen, a what if. What if Aaron Rodgers did go to the New England Patriots? I'm sure all of you have seen the reports that that Rodgers was almost traded to the New England Patriots, but ultimately he decided to side with the New York Jets and go there, even though the Patriots were willing to offer more for Rodgers. Once again, I just want to make a hypothetical, a scenario of if Aaron Rodgers did go to the New England Patriots, how do I think it would have worked out? So before we get into that, and we have to get my thoughts on if it would have worked or not, we have to break down the pieces around them, offense, defense, and coach. So if you look at the pieces around them, Ramondre Stevenson, great running back, I think underrated, undervalued, and probably underappreciated. I think for many fans' eyes, if you compare him to Breece Hall, I think at worst case scenario, they are even. I won't get upset if you said Breece Hall was slightly better, but I think they're both on par as a great running back. But after that, it kind of drops off for me with Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Parker, and Kendrick Bourne. I think Rodgers has a far better wide receiving group with the Jets, with Garrett Wilson, Hartman, Lazard, Corey Davis, even though he's injured immensely. That trio is far better than the Patriots as of right now. Now, if he wasn't on the team, would this entice DeAndre Hopkins to lean towards the Patriots, seeing they have more than enough money, in my opinion, could probably restructure, cut some players, and get him on a deal? I think it would with Aaron Rodgers as opposed to Mac Jones. But for right now, we're going to stick with the three that we have, at least the three that wide receivers I have, the top three for the team. Juju Smith-Schuster is above average at best. I know he had a bounce back year with the Chiefs, but ultimately I think it's kind of the best he's going to be. With Rodgers, I think for a wide receiver one, that's already going to be tough enough, seeing that he's not Garrett Wilson, he's not Christian Watson, he's certainly not Devontae Adams, so it's not a familiar face, along with anyone else on the team. You break down Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, average at best. I just don't think that wide receiving trio is good enough. I don't think so. Once again, it's not. He doesn't have any familiar faces. He wants that. He wants to have players he's accustomed to playing with, and also coaching with of course Nathaniel Hackett being the offensive coordinator. It's a familiar face. He can sit down, make him laugh, talk. It's someone he knows, along with Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb. I know he tried to get Mercedes Lewis to go there, but he has two familiar faces at the wide receiver position, so it definitely helps him having a chemistry as opposed to these three, which I don't think would be good enough for Rodgers. Looking at tight end, Gesicki and Hunter Henry, I think these are solid tight ends for Rodgers. Gesicki just didn't fit in McDaniel's scheme. Not too much of a run blocker, more of a receiving tight end. That's why I kind of, when they were trying to figure out the franchise tag, when he was placed on there, they weren't sure to use a tight end or wide receiving tag because of just how he was utilized. But overall, they are both good tight ends for Rodgers, a big target for Gesicki. And Hunter Henry back in 2021 had a great season, had a down year this past year, but overall is once again, just like Gesicki, a solid option. We look at offensive line. He is getting a downgrade in this one. If you look at Pro Football Network, I know, sorry, it's not PFF. I usually try and use that, but wasn't able to. So if you want to take, this could be subject to if this is concrete or not, but what they had listed was for the Patriots offense line ranked 17th last year, and for the Packers 8th last year as well. So a decrease in that. You are going from top 10 to middle of the pack, which is not horrible. 17th is not horrible for Rodgers, but definitely needs the protection because at times he can get easily rattled. Of course, just like anyone else, but he has shown that last year too, where if you can get to him, that he's not going to put up too much of a fight of trying to scramble out. He'll throw the ball away and just survive for another down, won't risk an interception. So in that aspect, it is a decrease from the Packers. I'm not sure where the Jets ranked. I would assume that they were maybe around that range, maybe a little bit better. But overall, if you look at from Green Bay to New England, a decrease in that. But when we shift to defense, it is a different story. This is coming from Football Reference. Once again, sorry, not PFF. But for this one, if you want to take this for certain, the Patriots defense was ranked 11th last year, and Green Bay was ranked 17th last year. So an upgrade in that, not the best, not the hugest upgrade, but just bordering the top 10 defenses in the NFL as opposed to being average. So definitely has a huge increase right there. And if you look at the last time when Rodgers, or only time when Rodgers won his Super Bowl, he did have a top 10 defense. So that certainly helps him in the case right there, bordering that side, that top 10, especially with Aaron Rodgers at the helm of quarterback. I'm sure it makes it a lot easier and not being on the field as long as opposed to having Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. But this is where my big concern is the coaching staff, Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick. So going back to what I kept saying, familiar faces, he's best friends with Nathaniel Hackett. He gets along with him. He makes him laugh. That's what Rodgers wants. Rodgers doesn't want a guy who's going to confront him and make it tough for him. And that's the same thing too with Bill Belichick, the Bill Belichick way or the Bill Belichick system. His personality does not fit that. I tweeted a thing out about that. I said I believe Rodgers made the right decision picking New York over New England just simply because of the Bill Belichick way. His personality does not fit that culture. And I don't think it really fits a lot of people in the team with his culture. I think the reason why they were so dominant for those 20 years was because of Tom Brady. He was able to kind of buffer that message from the coach to the players and kind of told them not to worry too much and smooth things out. With Brady not longer being there, I think that the message kind of just gets dull and you kind of ignore it at times. And especially too, Bill Belichick calls everyone out. He did this notoriously for Tom Brady, which at the end of the day, it seemed like he got sick of. And I have no doubt Aaron Rodgers is going to get sick of that. That didn't really happen too much in Green Bay. And once that starts happening, he's not going to be happy there. He's not going to like it. And same thing too with Bill O'Brien with the infamous video of him getting an argument with Brady. If that does happen with Aaron Rodgers as well, he's not going to like that. So already I can see a internal conflict happening pretty fast because of just the sole reason of Belichick and Bill O'Brien. Of course, the offensive weapons don't help that either, but that's the least of the problems compared to just the personality of Belichick and Bill O'Brien. Now, and you look at it for Belichick post Tom Brady, so it's 2020, 2021, and 2022. He has a combined record for those 3 years of 25 and 25. 2020, 7-9. 2021, 10-7. Made the playoffs, lost in the wild card, and last year 8-9. So you look at the post-Tom Brady era, he's only had one winning season out of the three. Granted, I give him credit for a rookie Mac Jones, but ultimately has not had the same success as opposed to having Tom Brady on the team. So right off the bat, record-wise, yes, they will be much better. My prediction will be they will be a playoff caliber team contending for the number one spot in the division. Of course, with Rodgers with the Patriots, we presume that Zach Wilson would be the starter. They won't be in the conversation for a number one spot in the division, though they will have an interesting race throughout the season. They won't be one of the top teams to legitimately win it. It'll be a three-way race between the Patriots, Bills, and Dolphins. So no doubt they do have contention with Rodgers to win the division and make the playoffs. I'm not going to go as far as to say Super Bowl caliber just because of the personalities. Once again, I really do see this being conflicting with one another. Rodgers is, to a lot of people's eyes, is selfish. Cares about himself. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. That's not going to fly in the Belichick system, culture. So no doubt there's going to be a lot of feuding. I really do believe if they were on the same team together, like I said, internal conflict with him and potentially also Bill O'Brien as well, with sometimes how he is. So that's the only reason why I only put them at playoff caliber. If Rodgers or Belichick didn't have these personality problems, then I would maybe push it up to a Super Bowl caliber ones. And maybe I would slightly do it too if they did have DeAndre Hopkins, but just sticking with the roster they have now, this is good enough to be a playoff team, not a Super Bowl caliber team. And that's where I think that this would go as far as. And I also think too that this wouldn't last that long. Just once again, keep pounding the table is just because of the internal conflict I think there would be with Belichick and Rodgers. I think this might, it might just be, for them being a duo, probably for a few seasons after that, I think they'll be done. No doubt, I think if Rodgers does finish the contract, he'll probably retire from the NFL. I don't see him going much further after his contract is fulfilled. It doesn't seem like he really has the motivation or the drive to really continue. He's kind of contemplated retirement the last couple seasons, so it won't be a huge surprise if he didn't, continue after his contract. And there's a good chance that he might even finish his whole contract either. But we would see. But I think regardless, even putting aside retirement, I just don't think that this would be a good combination for Rodgers and Belichick. They just have two polar personalities, and I think the cultures don't fit. Rodgers is used to kind of having, controlling the narrative in Green Bay and kind of controlling the team. Belichick is not going to allow it. He is the main guy in charge. He's the head coach, the GM, the final decision maker. And I just don't think this would be a good pairing. For the trade wise, I don't know what they would give up. I would presume it would be similar to the Zach Wilson situation where Mac Jones would just be on the team still, and he would be benched. Seeing that the Packers are moving forward with Jordan Love, it wouldn't make sense to trade for Mac Jones in that case. So I view in that aspect that Mac Jones would probably be a backup to Rodgers, like we have with right now with Zach Wilson with Rodgers. I don't know how much they would give up if they would be willing to give up a first-round pick. I feel like that they would kind of be desperate at this point, but it kind of contradicts itself because I just don't see Belichick. It's surprising to see Belichick do this because I wouldn't think that he would want to go out and give up a good amount of assets to acquire a quarterback like this. It doesn't seem like his typical MO, but once again, I think you could kind of view this as maybe getting a little desperate, not viewing Mac Jones as the guy that he hoped he would have been. But no doubt this would have been a great upgrade for the Patriots, but I just think ultimately this would have failed. Once again, just personalities, the weapons, don't really go out and spend tons of money on top players usually. So I think for this, right, to do a hypothetical, what if Rodgers were on the Patriots? I think that he would do much worse with the Patriots than he would do with the Jets. Coaching wise, I would give Saleh the edge over Belichick. I get he has the pedigree of 6 Super Bowls and being dominant through almost 20 years. But I just think the personality fits better. I think Saleh just gets some more out of players with his high energy. It seems like the defense plays aggressive, goes all out. I think the whole team kind of feeds off his energy, as opposed to Belichick that's not really like that. But once again, just to sum it up, I think at best this would be no doubt a playoff caliber team, but I view it as much as only that. I don't view it as a Super Bowl caliber team. I think they're just good enough to contend for the division and get in the playoffs. Outside of that, I don't see a chance of them winning the Super Bowl if he decided to go there. But I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me know your thoughts down below on the what if. What you believe if Rodgers was on the Patriots, how would they do? Would they be a playoff team, a Super Bowl team, or would they be a team that missed the playoffs? Let me know your thoughts down below. But with that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next one.